In order to foster a positive culture of assessment and continuous improvement at the campus level, UMD has established several key mechanisms that are presented in this video: assessment structure, assessment reporting, assessment review, training and development, recognition of assessment work. UMD's structure for the assessment of student learning is divided into two categories: undergraduate and graduate. At the undergraduate level, the campus has 9 student learning outcomes. All students are expected to work toward attaining the 9 student learning outcomes by engaging in both curricular and co-curricular programs. Curricular programs are comprised of bachelor degrees and undergraduate certificates, as well as the liberal education program. Co-curricular programs are defined as structured, student-centered programs that promote students' academic, personal, and/or professional growth and development. A few examples of the co-curricular programs at UMD include the Honors Program, Study Abroad Program, Career and Internship Services, and Disability Resources. For UMD's graduate school, the campus has 5 graduate learning goal categories. Every master's and doctoral degree program has program learning goals and program learning outcomes that align with every learning goal category. Post-baccalaureate certificates must have at least one program learning outcome that aligns with the knowledge and scholarly formation goal category. Every program, undergraduate and graduate, curricular and co-curricular, determines its own program learning outcomes, aligns the program learning outcomes with the campus student learning outcomes or graduate learning goal categories, and creates a formal assessment plan that follows campus assessment practices. Because assessment is conducted at the program level, initial reports are written and submitted by every program that has an assessment plan. The first report is called the Annual Program Assessment Report, which summarizes all assessment of student learning conducted for the assessment plan in one academic year. The program may use the summer and first few weeks of the following fall semester to complete the report. This report is sent to the campus assessment team, who coordinates the processes by which the reports are shared with campus and unit administrators. The second item listed is not technically a report. Rather, this form is used by the programs to summarize information from the annual program assessment report for campus reporting purposes shown below. Third, programs also complete a short form each spring to provide an update regarding progress made on recommendations stemming from recently submitted annual program assessment reports. Program data is combined to create campus assessment reports. Assessment dashboards provide snapshot views of assessment data that align with campus undergraduate student learning outcomes and graduate learning goal categories. The UMD Assessment Subcommittee completes additional analysis and interpretation of the data to prepare an annual campus assessment learning goals and outcomes report. Lastly, during the summer months in preparation for fall semester, the Closing the Loop report is provided to campus and unit administrators to communicate changes made and address any concerns programs might identify. For a little more context on closing the loop, this is the term used to show how changes identified from one year for an educational experience can be integrated into the assessment process for the next offering of the experience. In particular, assessment results are compared time after time to document the effect of changes implemented. As an initial educational experience is delivered, the assessment process is conducted. The assessment data helps to inform potential improvements that factor into the plans for the next offering of the educational experience. The assessment process is conducted again, and the analysis can now include a comparison of results from the two offerings to determine if any changes had an effect on student performance. The assessment data helps to inform potential improvements, and the assessment process with comparison of results occurs again. The process continues, which creates an ongoing spiral type of effect. The annual program assessment report is where programs document their assessment results and describe the difference in the results since the program learning outcome was last reported. The difference may be attributed to the changes implemented. As described previously, we use closing the loop updates as a way to check in with programs and obtain a summary of progress being made to implement any changes that may have been identified based on interpretation of assessment results. This update occurs several months after the annual program assessment report is submitted. At UMD, assessment of student learning reports provide data to inform decisions at the program, college, and campus levels. The campus assessment team uses assessment report information to evaluate the effectiveness of assessment practices and identify areas where support may be necessary. The UMD Assessment Subcommittee uses reports as a way to convey recommendations to other governance groups and campus administrators. The Liberal Education Subcommittee uses reports to gain important information regarding student learning within that curriculum and presents reports with recommendations to other governance groups and campus administrators. All departments conducting program assessment use their respective assessment reports as a means in which to foster continuous improvement. Using program assessment reports at the college or division levels helps to identify common themes and potential issues across departments. Planning and budgetary decisions are informed in part by assessment, and program review procedures integrate assessment. UMD's assessment review practices help to identify possible areas for improving assessment practices. Annually, each fall, Program Assessment Liaisons, or PALs, for every program on campus come together in small groups to conduct a review of one another's assessment practices. The groups evaluate each member's program using a rating scale and suggest changes to drive improvements as appropriate. This level of review focuses on information summarized within the assessment plan and provided on the annual program assessment report. In fall 2016, UMD also started a process of reviewing the campus's assessment practices. This type of review is conducted by the UMD Assessment Subcommittee after a few years of having established practices. This level of review provides a way for the subcommittee to identify assessment needs and ways to address those needs. An important aspect of providing assessment support is training and development, as learning needs for faculty and staff evolve over time. The campus assessment team works closely with UMD's Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, or CETL, to identify and deliver workshops for faculty and staff on a variety of assessment topics. The co-curricular community of practice is for any staff and faculty involved in conducting assessment of a co-curricular program. This group meets on a regular basis to share information and best practices and to support one another in conducting high-quality assessment work. Faculty and staff may also choose to participate in professional associations that conduct workshops on assessment topics. These associations may be discipline-specific or assessment-specific, such as the Association for the Assessment of Learning in Higher Education. Because assessment is part of the work we do to deliver educational experiences, faculty and staff are strongly encouraged to communicate their participation in assessment work in annual performance reviews. Because faculty should report assessment responsibilities in works, a resource guide that shows relevant placement of assessment participation is available on the UMD Assessment of Student Learning website on the Faculty and Co-Curricular Program Staff Activities page. Staff should document their work on the annual performance appraisal document required of the job classification. If you are a PAL, you want to make sure to document the work you do in this role, since your responsibilities are broader than a participating faculty or staff position. Another way to recognize programs for their good work is to share best practices. UMD continues to add examples to a repository of program learning outcomes and course student learning outcomes, measures, and ways to involve students and external stakeholders. For more information on UMD's assessment of student learning practices, please refer to information available online.